dean of students or something like that. And that was true at Purdue, and that was true at many of the Research One universities throughout the U.S. And that was always very frustrating because it was tough keeping good people in research. So that was frustration number 2. Frustration number 3 it had to do with the fact that the aging population was growing dramatically. It was then 10-ish years away from the baby boomers hitting the Medicare and Social Security scene, and there were just too few people doing research on aging health at that point. So that was another problem that I saw when I came from my work at Purdue and the research that I had been doing. Another frustration, this is frustration number 4, was that research was terribly siloed. That as a sociologist, you did research as a sociologist, and you didn't talk to people who were physicians, physiologists. Once in a while, you kind of bowed to talking to a psychologist, maybe. But it was really tough. It was really tough getting people to do interdisciplinary research, and yet the world of research for the decade at least before that was moving in that direction. It was not that kind of research was not appreciated by tenure committees or promotion committees, and so people increasingly shied away from doing interdisciplinary research. So I thought there was a need to foster interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary research in the area of minority health. Another frustration, this is number 5, was an issue that had to do with measurement and conceptual variability. I was troubled by generalizations about minority research and minority groups that were covered in research. Can the same operationalizations be used in minority populations that are used in not so minority populations? And furthermore, and an equally important problem, there was this terrible lumping of minority groups into, or specific minority groups into single categories. Southern African Americans have experienced very different set of life experiences than have urban North African Americans. Equally true of Hispanic people. There's Dominicans are not like Mexicans. There are tremendously different cultural differences. So I was never sure then if the variability that we saw was a consequence of measurement, or was it truly variability that it was a true variability that was culturally attributable? What proportion of the variance was explained by culture and the other by lousy measurement, or not lousy measurements, those are not so good measurement. And the sixth thing, and Carl just spoke about this, was what someone called Stahl's law, which was that when you went in to do research and you wanted to recruit a proportion of minority people into your research, I always found that I was able to achieve 40% of what I anticipated. And this came, I have an N of 2 on this, so it came along. And there had to be a better way of doing this. There had to be what James Jackson called the science of recruitment. So that was those were kind of the 6 frustrations that I came to NIA with. Well, given all these problems, I was really surprised that NIA still wanted me to come here. So within about a week of my arrival at NIA, Robin Barr, who is now the director of extramural activities, invited me for a coffee across the street at Starbucks, and he started talking about what our mutual interests were, and I shared with him some of these frustrations, and I found in Robin a very like-minded character. Robin at that point was the associate director. Excuse me, is now the director of extramural activities. And he added to my list of frustrations, like we needed something else. And that was, he was troubled by the NIH fellowship and training programs in general at NIH. There was a problem in recruiting and maintaining mentors into those programs. And furthermore, they were training grants for T32s, T35s, T32s were, constantly you forget, right? were really hard to get, really tough to get money for T32s. It reminded me that I was a grad student. When I was a grad student, I held an NIMH fellowship, and that was back when the woolly mammoths were still in a Pleistocene. And the department, my degree's from Illinois, the department was very glad that I got the fellowship, the NIMH fellowship. They gave me their blessing and they said, now go learn something and we'll see you in 5 years. Okay? And there was absolutely no mentoring. I can't even tell you to this day who my sponsor or my mentor was, and that's not because of dementia. So, in this conversation with Robin, he introduced me to the notion of what P30s were, which are core grants. And usually core grants are centered around a research subject or a research program. But Robin's suggestion was, why don't you consider mentoring and the research that goes on in mentoring to be the reason for doing a grant, for using the P30 mechanism. And that's all I needed to hear. And Robin accused me later of finagling the system, but I kind of had prided myself on being able to work sort of within the system. Maria didn't say that. So I wrote the RFA, the FOA, and it was almost cathartic because now I could deal with those problems that I saw in the area. The first awards were made in 1997, at the very end of 97, and the last day of September of 1997, with 97 monies. Government is bizarre in that way. It made everyone slightly crazy, as it continues to do, I'm sure, in the current funding. There were 6 RCMARs initially, and I'm delighted to say that 3 of those RCMARs are still in existence today. The UCSF RCMAR, which is called the Center for Aging and Diverse Communities, which is CDAC. Colorado and Washington, now Washington State, RCMAR, which is the Native Elder Research Center called NERC. And then the University of Michigan Wayne State RCMAR, which is called the Michigan Center for Urban African American Research, also known as MUCWA. Initially, we were able to get money also to sponsor the RCMARs from, then it was NCMHD, now it's NIMHD, National Institute of Minority Health Disparities, as well as NINR, the nursing research. The success of the RCMARs was such that each of those programs eventually pulled away from our RCMARs because they formed their own RCMAR-like entities. So what I would like to do now, if I get this to work, is to map the 6 frustrations.
You can add a 7.
I think this is the one. That one. Good guess. Thank you. To map those frustrations to the goals of the RCMAR, the missions of the RCMAR. This comes from the website. I kind of condensed it a little bit, so it's relatively easy to read. The first one, the first goal is to increase the number of researchers focusing on minority elder health. At the end of 2006, NIA asked that we do a formal evaluation of the RCMARs. That was the end of 6 years. And at that point, there were 197 scholars after 6 years who had gone through the program, the RCMAR scholars. And now in a conversation last evening with Steve, he estimates there are over 400 scholars that have gone through the program in the 20 years of existence. The vast majority of them focus on the minority, on the health of minority elders. Major accomplishments in this area. There's a major recognition by a number of prizes that have been won. Publications are remarkable in this area, and there's an increase in independent NIH funding that we've seen as a consequence of the RCMARs. And importantly, the mentoring relationships, and this is, I think, so critical, the mentoring relationships between the RCMAR scholars and the mentors that are in the program, the faculties in the program, have continued well beyond their tenure as RCMAR investigators, RCMAR scholars. Many of the publications that I've seen are still joint with the scholars and their mentors. And now many of them that began entering the program and looking through some of the accomplishments of the program are associate and full professors still within university settings, and a lot of the research is multidisciplinary research. I think it argues very well for the future of aging research and the professional workforce. So that covers frustration number 3 and number 4. 3 we had been keeping track. Was increased research in aging, and also the two-siloed nature of research. The second goal of RCMARs was to enhance professional workforce diversity by mentoring minority academic researchers for research careers in minority elder health. There is clearly, just look around, that's kind of the answer to what we have just said. And furthermore, there's a latent consequence, I think, to this particular goal, and that is early on it was decided that the mentoring would be for junior faculty as opposed to grad students. So that meant that these people were already kind of committed to a career in research. And in working with the outstanding scholars that were already in the programs, it really was an attempt to keep them involved in research and away from becoming the dean of students somewhere. There's some spectacular exemptions or exceptions rather to this that I'm aware of, but both of these, the two that I'm most aware of, are now in positions to further research itself. One of those, the head of the Indian Health Service, was started out as a RCMAR scholar under Obama's administration. I started out as a RCMAR scholar, and the current director of the scientific director, the title of the National Institute of Minority Health Disparities, began her career as a RCMAR scholar. So I think that concern number 2, I'm really pleased with that. The frustration number 2 is that we maintain researchers in the research workforce, the minority researchers in the research workforce. Again, going back to what Carl said initially in terms of recruitment intention, it's poor. We all know why. There are historical, cultural reasons for the problems of recruiting minority subjects into research. But there have been a number of studies that the RCMARs have done that have really facilitated this maintaining people within the research workforce. I forgot to move the slide. And find the arrow. Where's the arrow?
Try space bar.
I'm sorry?
Just push the space bar.
Thank you very much. We didn't want to do that. Magic touch.
I didn't change.
Oops, that's, yeah. forgot to read to you, improving recruitment retention methods for enlisting minority elders. There are a number of publications that the RCMARs have done over the 20 years. One of them that James Jackson worked on is called The Science of Inclusion. It was republished as a book and then published again as a special issue in the Gerontologist. And there was another issue that was done also in the Gerontologist called Recruitment and Retention. And that is a critical function of the community liaison board. You cannot work in community without this kind of sensitivity to the needs of that community. You can't quantify the extent to which this has improved over time, and I know that there are real problems with it because in my work with NIJ, National Institute of Justice, there have been consistent problems in convincing them that there are methods that are available and you don't have to fly by the seat of your pants every time you want to recruit people into it. So at any rate, number 6 on that was the Stahl's law rule has maybe increased to 41% from the 40% that we had initially. And measurement also has been, which is a function of the analysis core, was my feeling that creating culturally sensitive and precise measures to assess the health and health status of minority elders was my feeling that if you were going to maintain people within the community of researchers, it was going to be necessary to give them outstanding methodological training. Otherwise, it would be impossible. It would be impossible to maintain these people in major research positions. And so their analysis core was created such that there were each of the RCMARs had to have someone or someones who had major methodological experience and expertise. So there is extensive mentoring within each of the RCMARs, and indeed there have been a number of publications that have come out of this efforts. There was a publication, the Journal of Medical Care was devoted to an issue of the issues of measurement that the RCMARs did. The Journal of Mental Health and Aging, and there's a book that Springer published, as a matter of fact, that several of the RCMARs participated in. So number 5, I think, was addressed. I'm not sure it's solved. I'm not sure it's ever going to really be adequately solved. But number 5 was the business of measurement. And finally, concern number 1 was addressed in your goal, increasing the effectiveness of interventions designed to improve the health and well-being of older minority persons. This was in response to the problem of too much description and not enough attempts to make a change. Clearly, in looking over the research that you're doing, I looked over the presentations for this morning on the research that's completed and the research that is in planning, which I guess is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. The vast majority of them address this issue. The vast majority of them are some form of intervention to make a change in some aspect of the social system that will impact the health of minority. So, in conclusion to all this, I think the RCMARs have accomplished a great deal in 20 years. I think that the commitment of NIA and the commitment of the Division of Behavioral Social Science and Liz's efforts in maintaining the RCMARs and furthering the RCMARs is commendable and exceedingly important. Not exactly that health disparities have disappeared in the world, and certainly there's a lot of work still to do. Far from it, especially in this political climate. I couldn't resist saying that. So I think we have to ask ourselves, all of us have to ask ourselves, and ask ourselves continually, if the research that we're conducting will really contribute to improving the health and well-being of older adults and older minority adults in particular. But if any sort of program is going to be able to answer that question, then it's a program certainly like the RCMARs. I think you people have achieved an incredible lot in 20 years and sustained an interesting program that will move far in accomplishing that. I have been very proud to be associated with the program, so thank you.
So Sid Stahl's Law, huh? That's a new one. We'll have to publish that. All right, well, thank you, Sid, for